Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to take a look at the video that Storey from Rich Energy uploaded and go through the analysis as it goes through. I know that doesn't make sense, it's my first time doing it, so please be kind. So I'm probably going to put the video up here so that anyone can see what I'm talking about, and bear in mind, the genius who recorded that video recorded it like this instead of this. So, point of notice, you always record your video in landscape, not in portrait, unless you're just posting that on Instagram or TikTok, which is, yeah. Alrighty, my boy Rich.
Magnificent.
What? He just, and I might be wrong, but are we sure that's Rich Energy, like, you know, Rich Energy, or is it just some Coke with some water? Who knows?
I'm delighted to announce that Rich Energy, the UK's premium energy drink, is coming back to Formula One. Ever since July the 26th, 2018, when I agreed a deal with Vijay Mallya and Sahara to purchase the Force India Formula One team, we have been determined that Rich Energy will compete with Red Bull at pinnacle of motorsport, Formula One.
Firstly, he agreed a deal with Vijay Mallya, but it was not a written deal. It was just something that they talked about, and I suspect he might be going deeper within the details, where I will just interrupt and say what I think.
Unfortunately, our deal for Five Force India Formula One team was derailed by Sergio Perez going for administration.
Storey, the guy who probably runs Drive to Survive. Now, Sergio did nothing wrong. He put the team into administration just because Vijay was doing the wrong thing with the team. They were cash strapped, they did not have a future, and a lot of people's jobs were on the line. Let me just say that if Sergio did not do that, the team would have gone bankrupt. And a team which has been put into administration, is pretty rare in F1 terms to see a team in administration coming back and competing. So for him to say that, it's a bit rubbish, to be honest.
And even though ourselves and a very well-funded Russian bidded more than Lawrence Stroll became the owner of...
The thing about Lawrence Stroll, I remember reading this, and I would try to find the article and just link it in the description. I'm pretty sure he formulated an offer to buy the team, but it was not backed because he did not have the finance. Something, by the way, which was proven right. At the end, when they released the account statement for Rich Energy, he did not have a lot of money. I think he had like £600 sterling or what. But it's a little bit hilarious. I mean, his finance is as stable as the Red Bull lineup since 2018. Also, I should add that just because you have the highest bid doesn't mean that you may get the team. There's one thing which I think the administrators looked into was in terms of long term, what's going to happen and what will be happening. Yes, he probably did not have the money, but he claims he had, so let's assume he had so. But he did not get the deal because he probably did not have anything prepared or sustainable in the long term, which is funny. I mean, ask Peter Windsor about it. Peter Windsor was the guy who used to run the PR for Rich Energy. In my opinion, he did interviews, and when Rich Energy got into trouble, every time someone asked something to Peter Windsor, he refused to answer. Tells you all what you need to know.
Force India, which is now, of course, Aston Martin Racing. Subsequently, we then entered into detailed negotiations
imagine
with McLaren
if
and
Williams
before I decided
got into
we could actually do a much better
with
deal
Rich.
with Haas F1. We then created the Rich Energy Haas F1 team, which was registered with the FIA, and actually, in my opinion, was the best looking car on the grid in 2019.
Let's just be honest. His livery was just a rip-off of the Lotus livery, which was actually a rip-off of the JPS Lotus livery back in the 70s. So there's nothing original here, just like his logo.
Unfortunately, due to poor performance both on and off the track, regressively I had to sack Haas. I then entered into...
No, he did not sack Haas. Here's what happened. Sponsorship deal, was not paid. I think he did not submit the whole amount of money, firstly. Secondly, he tweeted some pretty obscure stuff about Haas ahead of the British Grand Prix, where he then said, blah, 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 I'm gonna revoke my partnership, the partnership is done. And then Haas was like, bro, you what? And then the shareholders came out and said, well, no, actually, here's what's gonna happen, blah, blah, blah. He's not involved. And then when Haas themselves said, okay, we had enough of this clown, we're gonna get rid of him for the Singapore Grand Prix, he was like, yeah, nah, that's it, we're done. So for him to say that he sacked Haas is a bit rich, because he did not pay them in the very first place.
A series of legal problems with my main competitors, Red Bull, which have now...
By legal trouble, he means tweeting actual court documents or tweeting private documents in the public, and he got into deep shit for that. Let's just remind ourselves that how he came out on the very first day of testing, says beat the Bull or something like that, very silly, just because he completed more laps than Red Bull during testing. So yeah, very stable man.
All been dealt with, and we are now, in the last year, we've worked incredibly hard to lead a renaissance of rich energy worldwide, where millions of consumers are trying our drink,
God
which we
save
believe
us.
and are very confident is the best energy drink in the world. Rich Energy now have a raft of world champion ambassadors. We have one of the best...
Just like Boris Johnson said that Brexit will be confidently handled. I'm not trying to get political, but I doubt that millions of people have tasted his drink. He did not have a lot of, I would say, inventory at the end of when everything got disclosed in 2019 or so? Yeah, it was probably 2018 or 2019. Also, can I just add, he actually doesn't actually sell his shit at all. It's listed on his website, which you barely can order. It was only available in some outlets, and it's pretty much, I doubt even 500,000 people have tasted his drink. Prove me wrong, William.
We have one of the best motorbike teams in the world, Rich Energy OMG Racing. We also have a partnership with the BMW Factory World Superbike team, and some of the fastest men in the TT, Macau Grand Prix, and World Superbikes, for example, Alvaro Bautista as ambassadors. Since our leaving Formula One, I've worked very diligently.
I will not comment on anything related to MotoGP because I'm just a troll.
In Formula One, with terrestrial TV no longer really being prevalent and a paywall of viewers, instead of 10 or 12 million people watching Formula One on BBC or ITV, it's actually a few 100,000 on Sky. The subsequent damage that has done to sponsorships has meant that there's a number of different teams, for example, McLaren, have done a sale and lease back of their Woking Technology Centre.
Now, I have to be honest, not really a big fan of the guy, but whatever he's talking, that's actually a fact. F1 viewership, the viewer numbers have declined because of everything going private, which is a sad state for the sport, but hey, F1 TV if you got that. Or if not, just stick with David Croft shouting obscure stuff.
Williams were in parlous financial problems until they were bailed out by our friends at Doralton Capital. And obviously even Haas have now had to go for pay drivers because of their weak financial position.
Don't call him a pay driver. He's a very respected person. He's a very respected racing driver, that piece of shit.
So I've been looking for a way in which Rich Energy can return optimally, both for us and to help the team that we're going to work with. Serendipitously, a strategic ally of Rich Energy has purchased or has agreed to purchase a majority stake in an existing team. We did explore with the new regulation.
Keyword, agreed to purchase. An agreement to purchase doesn't mean anything. I'll give you two scenarios. When Renault decided to purchase Lotus in 2016, they had an agreement to purchase, and that in that fruitful way came out to be true. An agreement or just saying I agree to purchase, that doesn't mean anything in F1. Just like Mansour Ijaz agreed to purchase X amount of shares in Lotus and it did not pan out. In fact, Lotus, Jean Lopez, is actually still searching for Mansour Ijaz's money. So, yeah.
Actually entering our own team for 2022, which would be Rich Energy
God save
Formula 1
us.
team. But a friend of ours has agreed a deal for a majority stake in a Formula 1 team, and we will become a partner of that team for 2021. Once that acquisition is announced, we will become the title sponsor for 2022. I'm really looking forward to competing with our competitors on track. I'll be at the first race, March the 28th in Bahrain, and I look forward to seeing you all there.
Unless he catches coronavirus or he has a trip with Oscar Pistorius in the bathroom. Really, it seems pretty much something debatable whether he will be on the grid as a team, but I can't really see any team struggling that much to have him as title sponsor, just because of his reputation and whatever he brings.